welcome to the Money Tree. I'm David Holt. Hey,
Oh.
we're recording.
Sorry. I'm David Marks. Yeah, I got caught up here. I was looking at this great football preview from Mountain Valley News. You know, if you are a subscriber to the newspaper, mountainvalleynewspaper.com, get one of these for free.
They are free. And if you're not a member, you can come and get a subscription from now through February for only $10.
$10. And, you know, you can pick one of these up for $5, but why not go ahead and get that subscription through February and pick up this issue for free when you do that?
And in this issue, they're focusing on all the high school football teams and the cheerleaders and the coaches and all kinds of advertisements in there. So I know it's one you're going to want.
You know, and I noticed that the guys that were on here last week with us are in this magazine. One of the guys was a featured player, so I thought that was pretty cool.
That's good. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We are now on several media outlets.
We are.
Who would have thought that?
You know, when we first started with this project a while back, I honestly thought to myself, we'll never see 5 episodes, because I thought, number one, I'll never be able to come up with 5 topics, and if we both together put our brains together to come up with 5 topics, I will never be able to come up with 30 minutes for those 5 topics. And here we are at number 19.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. Listen, we've just been added to a local radio station at church last night. People were talking about it. So we are amazed at the doors that God has opened for us to be a part of. So let's start thinking where all we are.
Well, okay, let's do that. Number one, this could not be done without mountainvalleynewspaper.com. Those guys work hard. They make sure that the filming is done. They make sure that the processing, all of that, and it takes a lot of time. And so when we make a mess up, they fix that most of the time. Of
Start
course,
over, fix it.
We have to do that from time to time. So without them, this would not even be possible. So if you are someone who has benefited from our program, the least you could do is take that $10 that you've saved on something, come get you a subscription. That's
or
a plug.
$5 for the magazine.
Right, or the 5 for the magazine. You may have children in that, so it's a great way to give it to them.
And it's color all throughout.
That's right. That's
really
right.
Good.
It's awesome. Secondly, we want to thank Farmers TV, FTC TV, Channel 6. Mm-hmm. They have shown our show. Can I say that? Shown our show?
Shown our shows.
They've shown our shows.
There you go.
Plural. And they've done a great job, again, processing things that have to be done. That takes work and that takes time. And I think that we talked about it tonight. Was it 32,000 estimated viewers that we have? Mm-hmm. And that is something
expanding every day, because they're expanding down into Marshall County area.
Absolutely. So if you're in that area and you've just started joining us, we're glad to have you. Maybe we can help you save some money and maybe teach you a little financial fact there.
Go ahead.
Well, and our next outlet, of course, is the radio station. And, you know, I heard us the other day on the radio station, and I have to say, we sounded pretty awesome.
You know, you always said you had the face for radio.
I do have a face for radio. I do think that if there was ever an award show for local TV or local access TV kind of things, and we were to win an award, they might give us an award for the way we sound, not the way we look.
That could be true. We thank the folks at WVSM Radio. That's AM 1500 and 103.1 FM Rejoice. So we appreciate those folks playing our audio version.
And the great thing about that, David travels a lot. This guy, he likes to stay on the road, where I'm more of a homebody. Of course, that's part of being frugal.
The guru of frugalness.
That's right.
That's his new topic.
Guru. So, that's fun to say.
It
guru.
is.
So all that being said is, if you travel a lot, or if you're not right there in the area that may pick up the 1500 or the
103.1.
103.1. I knew that I would get that wrong.
FM.
If you're not in that area, you can go to our website, moneytreetv.org, and you can listen to their station anywhere in an area that you have cell phone or Wi-Fi, and listen to it streaming live. Tuesdays 4:30 is when we're on there, but of course they have other great programs on there too. That you can
but
listen
Tuesdays at 4:30 is the best time to tune in.
Right, it is. It is. That's the best time, because those two guys know most of what they're talking about.
Yes.
You do. Maybe not so much me.
He's the smart one.
Speaking of that, I have a question for you. Do you know what Saturday is?
It's the ball game. It's with college football. Whenever this may air, we're doing it right before college football.
We are.
Kickoff.
This is the Thursday before the big Auburn and Georgia Southern game, and of course the bigger game that night, Alabama and Florida State. And I have been looking at I'm a numbers person, so I have been going through stats and looking at all the analytical data to that. And from 1 week, it was a 7-point favorite, Florida State, to this week, it's about a 3.5-point favorite, Alabama. So I think that'll be a great games to watch. That being said, what do we usually do when college football season comes around with family and friends?
Well, let me tell you what our cameraman told us right before we went on the air. He is offered to cook steaks for his kids, his family.
That's very
and
that's a Christian thing
so
to do.
he is. But they've all decided. Some wants ribeye, some wants filet, some wants T-bone, and we didn't get invited.
I know. Well, and of course we're
What's
already
up with
obligated. We have family that we get together with too. Here's the great thing about that to know that if you host one of those parties, just on the standard side, we're not talking about steaks. That
Not
might be
the
a little,
filet side.
right. That's a little bit more. But most people will spend between $200 and $250 on their Saturday one game event.
That would mess up their budget.
That would mess up their budget. So that would be something they need to plan for in the future, because of course $250 a weekend. If
Is a
you
lot
have
of
those
money.
every weekend, that starts cutting into.
Or if you're one of the people that's going to a game like that,
Right.
you're going to spend a lot of money going to the game, and the cokes and the
Sure.
food is very expensive in the stadium. So
Sure.
even high
yes.
school football,
Even high school football.
it costs $6 to get in, and when you get in, everybody's hungry, wants something to eat.
Gotta have a hot dog.
So
Well, if you go to someone's house and watch a game this weekend, be nice and pick up a pack of M&Ms or chips or drinks. Do something. Kick it in.
yeah.
So
Or stay and help clean up.
that's right. Well, they
I would appreciate
They
that.
might appreciate that even more. So, getting all of that into, let's segue into what we're going to talk about this week.
We
If
are
you-
here for a show, right?
We are here for a show and to hear ourselves talk. So, if you are going to be going to someone's house, how are you going to get there?
I'm driving
You're going to drive,
or
right?
riding in a car.
So, if you're going to drive or ride in a car, you probably have to purchase that vehicle, right?
Yes.
All right. So,
Yes.
this week, what we're going to talk about is how to decide what you can afford in a car.
You know, it is so appropriate that we're talking about this.
Would you like to tell us why?
Well, my son just got a new job, and so he had bought a vehicle that gets really good gas mileage.
Okay.
Well, he's now got a different job, and the vehicle that they bought for him is the exact same vehicle,
So,
different
okay.
color. Exact. So he's got two cars of the same kind.
Right. He probably doesn't need that, does he?
No, he doesn't. And he's like, Dad, why don't you buy this car, my car, because it gets better gas mileage and you travel so much
Sure.
and sell your car.
So-
So I'm weighing the options about trading and getting a different car.
So this show really fits you this week.
It does, because this weekend we're going to decide how much he wants for his, how much I need to get out of mine, and
Go from there, right?
Go from there.
See the difference. So what do you think most people do when they go to buy a car? Do you think most people actually think about the payment, or do you think they just go to a car dealership and jump into it?
well, I want to know what the payment is. I mean,
Right.
that's mine. And number one, do I really need it?
Right, and that is, the need is it. Sometimes it's better off. You're better off to really weigh out your options and really see what all you have out there. We hope to give you some ideas on how to do that. So what we want to do this week is I want to give David, what I call the David Marks car buying plan.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the guru
So,
of frugalness is about
it-
to speak and bestow his knowledge
It
on
is-
you. It doesn't matter if it's a good car or a neat car. You know, when I was growing up, I had some they were
Sure.
not chick magnet cars.
Sure, right.
Okay, I'm just saying. My
Right.
first car was a Gremlin.
Oh, wow.
It was red with gold stripes. It had no air conditioner. It just had an AM radio.
Wow.
You know how I learned to drive? I drove that Gremlin around and around in the pasture.
Was it a 5-speed?
No, it was automatic. But and then from there, I went up the ladder to a Ford Fairmont, 4-door, baby blue.
There you go.
Such a not chick magnet car.
So when everybody else was in the muscle car era of Camaros and Novas and Roadrunners,
I was in a really, really ugly blue Ford Fairmont. But, you know, when I was able to pick out my car and my dad was not saying, no, this is what you're driving, then I got a nice
well,
car.
you know that we're going to throw off, and I say this to kids at school all the time, that we're going to go to the Book of Opinions here,
Okay.
and we're going to go to the Golden Rule. he who makes the gold makes the rules. So if you're the one who's making the gold to pay for this car,
So therefore, Dad was making good, wise choices.
He was making the
Okay.
rules. Now,
Okay.
if we can, let's go ahead and take a second and look at our first slide.
Okay. First slide.
Looking at this slide, we're going to discuss how to decide what you can afford in a car or truck that you want to buy. Now, it's important to know that we set a baseline here. So this applies to anyone watching the show in any job. All right? All automotive expenses should be no more than 20% of your gross income. And I feel like I'm being very lenient with that. Very lenient with that, but it should be no than 20% of your gross income.
Gotcha.
So the example I gave there is if you make $3,000 a month gross, that's $600 a month for your car. Now, it's important to know that that $600 a month does not mean you can afford a $600 a month car payment.
Correct.
Okay? Looking at that slide, can you tell us why?
Well, you have to subtract your insurance.
Right.
You have to subtract your gas, and if you go as much as me, it requires more gas.
Right.
Your tag, your maintenance.
Right.
So that gets us to about what, $350?
The estimate that I put on that is if you're working off $600 a month, being the money you're working around, $350 a month is automatically subtracted from your car buying ability.
Okay.
So when you look at that, that leaves you $250 for a monthly payment.
That's not a chick magnet car.
That is not, well, it depends. Now, here's where your credit score and your
we've
ability
talked
to
about that
borrow
before.
really factors into this, because if you have a bad credit score, $250 a month is probably not going to buy you a very expensive car. I have seen people that I know, friends I'll say, that have paid between 7 and 12% interest a month or on an auto loan of a car they've purchased. So a $7,000 car was costing them a good bit, and it would really make a payment close to this, to where someone with good credit, someone who handles their credit, manages, pays their bills, watches our episode about their credit score and abides by that, they might be able to go to a bank and get 1.9%. So there's a huge difference when you take that 6 percentage points off of your auto loan. So looking at that, if we take $350 a month off that, and we say, okay, $250 a month for your payment, that leaves an estimated automobile cost of $17,000.
Well,
Does that help your feelings?
Yes.
It does.
A little bit. A
so
little bit.
so maybe that number sounds a little bit better whenever we actually break it down and look at it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's part
I'm just saying, when you look online and you see these cars that you can, they're trying to get you to go and watch the commercials.
Right.
And these really elaborate, fancy cars.
Right.
They're willing
Expensive.
lease payments, and they're
Whoa, what's the word you just said?
the L word.
What's the
lease
L?
payment?
Lease. Okay. I'm just going to recommend this. Never lease a car, because it's almost the same philosophy as, now businesses may see profit in that, but if you are an individual, buy that automobile. Buy it outright. If you can't afford to buy it, then go look for another vehicle. The reason why is because, of course, we know cars depreciate. And, of course, a lot of people think, well, I'm losing value. But if you lease that vehicle, you never have the ability to make any gains off of it. You just lose that
It's
money.
like renting.
It is the same as renting. So we want you to be able to buy that car. And here's the advice I give. Because car payments are something that a lot of Americans spend a lot more than 20% of their income on. So let's just say that you go to any dealership and you want a 2018 fully loaded truck that has all the bells and whistles and Bluetooth and cameras and even, whatever, automatic tire change. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something there. It drives.
That's coming one day. It's
It
just not
probably
here
is.
yet
It probably
with the technology.
is. I'm sure Tesla's going to work on that when they hear that. So, you have all those bells and whistles. You're $45,000, $50,000 in debt there on a vehicle. And now if you make the money and you've prepared for that, that's great. But if you're 21 years old, you probably do not need to be buying that truck. I'm just saying. You need to be focused on starting your financial future and investing your money. Now, if you have or you own your vehicle already and you've paid off and you've used this policy that we have, take that $250 a month and start stashing it in the bank. Because when your car wears out, if you purchase your vehicle, another perk to that, then you can apply that towards a down payment, or you may even have saved up enough to buy another vehicle. Or close to it.
Cha-ching, just go write a check for it.
Right, and that's because the more money you have, the more of a bargaining tool you have with the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So all that being said, what do? 20% of your gross income. That can apply to anyone that's watching the show, whether it be...
And that's your total expenses for a vehicle.
Well, that 20% is your total
Right.
expenses. We're talking about all the maintenance, all the gas, all the insurance. You want to deduct that first and see what you have left over. And of course, do we say that it's going to be $350 a month? No, it may be more. Some people travel a lot more than I do, and so his gas is probably. Do you look at how much you spend a month on gas? By the way,
My wife does.
it probably would give me nightmares at night. I'm just saying, I would probably lose
The
sleep.
guru of frugalness would not approve. It
No.
would not work in the envelopes.
Well, true, but part of that is the simple fact that your job demands you to do that.
It does.
So work
I'm
makes
compensated
that
for the
difference.
mileage,
Right.
so I really
So
can't
work
complain.
makes a difference, but you still have maintenance
I do.
on your vehicle and oil changes and tires and everything else. So we want to
As
make
again,
sure.
negative Nelly here is reminding me I'm spending too much money.
Not negative. No. I'm just saying there's going to be part of that. Maybe I'm a little bit. I'm just saying there's going to be part of that would you really need to be prepared to pay for that vehicle, because you do have to buy a tag and things like that. So make sure that when you go for that new automobile, and look, there is owning an American car, owning a car as an American. I'll say that. Maybe I need to flip flop my words there. Owning a car as an American is freedom, and what do we love? We love freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah, that's just we like that individual idea of freedom. So when we can get in something with 4 wheels and a steering wheel and an M3P radio and all that, we are just we're free, right?
Yes.
Even if it's a baby blue, what was
Ford
it?
Fairmont.
There you go.
Or a red Gremlin with no air.
Right, with nowhere. So he had like the 240 air, right? 2 windows, 40 miles an hour.
That's
so
exactly
that's
right.
So,
But I'm thankful for it.
absolutely. And
I was
my
able
first
to have
vehicle,
one.
the first car that I had that I actually purchased for college, I paid $1,500 for the car. That was in 2000.
He just got rid of it last year.
It was not that. I mean, it was like maybe 9 years ago. But I mean, I got a lot of use out of that thing. I got
I
like
know.
7 or 8 years worth of use out of a $1,500 car, and I sold it for $1,275.
Listen, I'm learning so much about being more wise with my financial
He
decisions.
wanted to say cheap, and he just could not let that word come out when he was
I
talking
gonna
about
say
himself. He
frugal
wanted
again,
to say
but
it.
I'm trying to do better. I'm making better
Wise
choices with my
decisions.
money. Yes.
Right. So now let's say that you're ready to go buy this vehicle.
Okay.
You're ready to go start looking. We have actually found some cool apps, because we all use our phones. Everybody knows this. We found some cool apps that help you find a value in the car or truck that you want.
Now this is what I'm going to use for a bargaining chip with my
Right.
son.
You need to. So let's go ahead and look at our second slide. Go ahead, David. Take it away looking at our second slide.
Well, the first one is called Used Car Search Pros. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, Used Car Search Pro, it's a dark horse of car apps. It's something that not a lot of people know about, but it's out there, and of course you can download it both for Apple and Google platforms. 40,000 dealerships and private sellers for cars, has 59 search filters, including all the parameters to find your dream car. So it's
Now
actually going to
look,
break
these
it
younger
down.
people that are so tech savvy, this is probably
Oh,
what
this
they're
is
using.
huge for them, because this app judges the market value of the car to make sure you're getting a fair price.
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm using this app. I'm
That
downloading it
I
as soon
thought
as we
of
get off
you,
through
so
that.
I knew that you'd want to find
So
the
is
best
there a
deal.
cost for this app?
Free.
See,
All-
that's why we have Frugal Man.
All of these apps are
Captain
free.
Frugal.
That's right, Captain Frugal with a cape. So the second one we have there is Car Buying by Kelly Blue Book.
Now, we've all heard of Kelly Blue Book.
we've
Usually
all-
we go online and check it out. Or used to have a book back in the
They
day.
had a book, and banks actually use this when they would rate the value of
That's
a car
true.
when they would do a loan.
That's true.
So Kelly Blue Book, of course, has their app. It focuses on reviewing the specific models and prices near your location.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, car prices are different depending on where you are.
Out of the two, which do you like better?
Use Car Search Pro.
Okay.
I do. I mean, Kelly Blue Book is, of course, the standard. It's the platinum standard of apps when it comes to buying cars. But that's why we give you multiple ones so that you can look at them. And a couple others
Compare.
we're going to talk about are
Okay.
too. I used to wonder when I was a kid and you'd watch The Price is Right. They would have a car that would be something in our area that would sell for $12,000, and when they would give it away, they would say that it was a $29,000 car. Well, that's because car prices do vary depending on location,
region of the United States.
So keep that in mind. That's where Kelley Blue Book really helps you. The next one is True Car. You've probably seen commercials for True Car. It helps you search the desired car, receive a price breakdown based on what others have paid for the same vehicle.
Dude, that's good.
So you see what we're kind of working towards here. You have Kelley Blue Book that gives you the Blue Book value. You have the True Car that shows you what others are paying for that car. And then you have the Car Search Pro that will actually let you specify all the parameters into your car to give you a good baseline price. So we're trying to give you an overall picture here of what you need to pay. And of course, the last one we have on there is Instamotor.
I've never heard of Instamotor before.
It's safer, easier version of Craigslist. This is actually a car buying app, so that if you're out there looking, it's a private party selling app. It's very safe. It's not like Craigslist. You know, a lot of people do business on Craigslist, but you have to be very careful. So what Instamotor does is it's an app just for selling or buying used cars. Hey, if you're wanting to sell your car, Instamotor.
Well, here's the deal. I told my son that if I decide to do the trading, he's got to sell mine.
Okay, well that's a good idea.
So he's sold a couple of vehicles before. I don't know if it's Craigslist or this Instamotor, but it's kind of cool.
If he hasn't, he may want to look on this, because this does help you kind of protect you from fraud and from trying to be scammed. Because there's people who do that out there. They try to scam.
There's bad people in the world.
There are bad people. So look at those apps. Of course, there is a plethora of apps out there.
That means a lot.
That does mean a lot.
For those of you like me who didn't understand the word to
Well,
start with.
You know.
Let me ask another question.
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to do some wheeling and dealing with my son, do I need a third party, Captain Frugal, to come and help me negotiate this path?
Well, I would say, you know, it being your son, probably not.
It's your cousin.
I know, but see, I know that, but it would be hard. I would not feel like, because I would be
He's
torn
stuttering.
on that.
I cannot believe that you're at a loss for words.
Well, you want the best for both people. So it would be hard for me to reach a middle ground. Now, if you were going to a dealership, I'll go with you anytime.
Okay.
But I'm probably going to get up and walk out 3 times and probably drive off their lot very fast a couple of times.
And that's one thing I want to say. If you're out there shopping for a car, shop. Look around.
Yes.
Don't just go to one place. I'm
Yes.
buying it right here. Go see what kind of deals you can get.
Well, and salesmen in any kind of job want to get that sale. So sometimes you have to be willing to. I have a friend who bought a car recently, and they just walked in, talked to the salesman. Here's what you got. Boom, they bought it and walked out the door. And I'm like, how many times did you get up and walk out? And they're like, none. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you gotta show that you don't really need that car right now. Sometimes a little bluff goes a long way.
Well, I don't really need it, but I think in the long run, because
It'll save you money.
That's what, yeah. Because what I've learned on the money tree, I'm realizing I should be make better decisions with my money and get a smaller vehicle that gets better gas mileage because I'm having less maintenance and fuel costs.
Right, and if you have a higher mileage vehicle, of course, when anything gets older, kind of like people or cars, thought I'd slide that in there.
I saw the point, so yes, I caught it.
When you have anything that gets more miles on it, of course, you start having to do more and more maintenance, right? So, yeah, that's...
Our camera guy's laughing. But I will say, I'm going to show you that I can be frugal.
Okay.
I have a 1997 Dodge Dakota Sport.
And I do know that, and I'm very impressed by that.
And it only has 134,000 miles on it. And I will tell you, I really hate to admit this, it's just a white little truck that both boys have driven, and I won't sell it because it's paid for, it runs good,
Awesome.
The air conditioner and radio work, and I use it around the house.
Yes.
Well, it's so old that the paint is beginning to come off. So I just go get a can of spray paint, white spray paint, and spray the spots. You can't tell it. I mean, it's a white car and the white...
So it matches, right?
It does, so...
Clear
I'm learning.
That's right.
I'm learning
that's
here.
Right. And that's good. You know, I have the same thing. I have a work truck that's 2004 Ford Explorer Sport Track. Now, mine's not as in that great of condition because mine air conditioner compressor locked, and I just put a smaller belt on it and bypassed that baby. So, because I didn't want to pay for the air conditioner. But it's a work truck like that too. So those are always good to have around. And that's the benefit to buying. That's a good segue because that's a benefit to buying the vehicle. If you have something like that, you can always keep it.
Yeah.
Even for a spare that you might need, because things tear up sometimes.
Both boys drove it, but they won something more of a chick magnet car.
Right.
So they got to buy those, and so now I have a truck.
And now that they're both married, they can do away with their chick magnet days.
That's true. They better. So now we're ready to jump into the quick picks, the stock market.
The
Ready?
quick picks, right. I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready.
So let's go ahead and look at slide number 3. Looking at this, of course, we know that the stock market, some of the low picks, I've noticed that it seems like a lot of the stocks that have been increasing have been the stocks that are higher price stocks here recently. So I've given out some high price, but this week I really stuck to lower price stocks.
Well, I want to say thank you.
Because I think that's something that, and I actually found one this morning that I had sent out to our little group that started out at 2 cents a day and it closed at 7. So I was trying to give everybody a heads up. I did not get in on it either. I missed the chance because I was busy at school.
You're doing your job. Thank you.
And that's what
I appreciate
I'm supposed to work.
A good example of doing your job while you're at work.
Yeah, you hear that, administrators? So I do my job. So let's go ahead and look at this. Orchard Island Capital, ORC. I still feel like this is a solid buy. It's starting to come back up. It had really fallen there for a while. A buy at $9.50 is a fair price, I feel like, for it. So if you get it lower than that, of course, go ahead. Still offers a 15% monthly dividend.
And I think this has been on our quick picks for about 4 or 5 episodes in a row.
It has. And I've got it will recover in time. I would not be surprised maybe by next spring or summer to see this at $11 a share. And you're still getting that monthly dividend. Of course, if it hits $10.50 a share and it never makes that $11 point, you're still getting the dividend, so you're well making your monies back. KCAP Financial, KCAP is KCAP is a symbol. It's a buy at $3 to $3.10. Has a 14% dividend with a PE ratio of 21. So it has a pretty good. It's actually 21.959. Has a good price to earnings ratio, and it offers you a pretty strong dividend there. Just be careful. It may not be a long hold. Navajo Maritime, NNA, it's a buy at 110 to 115. See, all these are lower price.
That's good.
I did so good.
That's good.
Chemical Tanker Company. Now, it's lost 4% of the year, but it could produce a gain, okay? 11% dividend off of it also. Do you see a trend here with the ones I picked?
I do.
Low price, pretty high dividend.
Yeah.
Five Oaks Investment. This is another one that we've had on here several times. OAKS is its symbol. It's a buy at 415 to 425. PE ratio is 6.157, but has a 14% monthly dividend. So it has a pretty strong dividend because the price is down right now. This was, I think I bought into this one initially at like $5.50.
Wow.
So I'm a little bit underwater on it if you just take my dividends away, but my dividends have been enough, more than enough to recover that.
And my favorite are the penny picks.
The penny picks. And again, I gave you one just a minute ago that we had talked about. This one is OPGN, OPGNW. This is a warranted stock. It's a buy at 6 cents to 6.5 cents. So this is something you could get in very low level. Could see a quick gain. I would sell it at 10 or above.
Okay.
I would not hold on to it. Now, I may give you that advice at 6 cents and it may go to 84 and you may be like, wow, that guy really cost me money. But anytime you have those warranted stocks you buy really low, if you double your money, you really need to consider getting rid of it. So it's just a good advice there.
So one of these days we're going to have some of the people who are dabbling in the stock market come on and share their experiences.
Right.
And some have done very well.
Right.
When I say well, I bumped up $400 or $500.
Right, and you know that's a good bit considering your initial investment. I'm down right now actually because I had bought. Yes,
Captain, the guru of frugalness, is down in his stock market.
Yes, well,
Are you human?
I am human for the most part, and I had bought in a large quantity into Rate Financial. RAS is its symbol. Now, if you're looking at one to buy right now, it might be a good buy. It's about 84 cents. A share, and I had bought in at $1.99. And
Wow.
when I say buy in, I had bought around 200 shares. So I did it for the dividend. They had a strong dividend at that time. It's one of those cockroach companies that it'll probably survive anything but nuclear blast. However, because the markets have not increased on mortgages, what has happened is that company short sells mortgages, and they were looking to produce big gains off the federal government raising the rate. Banks didn't raise mortgage rates, so therefore they didn't produce the gains they were expecting, and when they gave their numbers, everybody jumped ship because they thought, hey, this is not a good company.
I got you.
2 years out, I may be smiling off that, but we'll have to see.
And remember, we're not asking you to spend all your life
this is spare
savings
change.
on. This is just fun money rather than buying a lottery ticket that you're just throwing away.
Right, absolutely.
And we certainly do
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys tuning in. Tell your
Yes.
friends about us. We appreciate all of our sponsors, social media, Farmers Telephone TV, Mountain Valley Newspaper, WVSM, and we appreciate you guys watching and telling your friends about us, and we appreciate all the kind words.
Right, so let's take a real quick rundown here. We have facebook.com/MoneyTreeTV. You can also follow us on Twitter now at Real Money Tree TV. That's our @ symbol there, or our Twitter symbol, and of course moneytreetv.org. So we'll try to give you good information on those. Of course, mountainvalleynewspaper.com, Farmers TV, Channel 6.
And WVSM, AM
There you go.
1500 and 103.1 FM, Rejoice.
Remember, guys, you cannot know financial peace without first knowing the Prince of Peace.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.